what have we been up to since our last video? We got new jobs.
Been traveling,
I got a new car.
connecting with friends and family.
And something that y'all been waiting for. hmm This
Yeah.
right here.
We are engaged. We are officially committed to being committed officially. That's how it
That
goes.
part.
She's off the market. That's what she's about to say.
hmm
She was never on the market, just so we're clear, as of January 2025.
Can't lie.
So we both have new jobs. We both started around the same time in the fallish time. I was in a position where, like, when I was filming all the times before, I was gainfully unemployed, if that's a term, and also really like in the process of trying to figure out where I was going to land. Had some things moving. I am now back at a university that I'd worked with before, doing the work that I was doing in a similar capacity, and I am loving it. I'm happy. Some of the drama that I was dealing with before is no longer part of it, and I get to work with a really good team, great students, doing great work. And if people don't know, the work that I do is I am in male success work at the university level, making sure that young men are graduating at higher numbers. I get to do, like, I literally get to do fun stuff, great work with great people, doing things that I believe in, and just get to be on a college campus, which is most of the time great. But just the energy of being in that space is always fun. And I wake up every day and besides just being tired because, life, but I'm excited to go to work. And I get to just, I come home and I'm like, man, it was like, I'm tired because of just like the day, but I'm not like exhausted mentally and I'm not drained like emotionally,
Yeah.
which is important.
Yeah. And then for me, I started working for a city in the Sacramento region. And man, is it a 180 compared to what I was dealing with. Like,
Man.
I don't think people understand um, like the toll that take like how your body reacts to being in bad environments, especially in a workplace when you have to be there 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, sometimes even more. And so for me to be able to switch and get a new position, it has been amazing. I've been busy. I manage a team now. We're doing some great work. We have organized over 6 events, from ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings and all those good things. And then also, I became a professor.
Yes.
It's so random. But yes, I'm Professor Linnea Lewis. And
Yeah, you are. Sorry.
and it wasn't something that I like sought out to
Yeah.
do at first. It was just an opportunity that landed in my lap, and I had the opportunity to actually go out for the permanent position. But man, hands down, shout out to all the educators out there, because I had like 3 weeks to prepare for my class, and it was it was interesting. But I think the part that makes it so fun is I get to bring real world experiences and insight
Yes.
to my field. And there's some professors that aren't actively working in the field right now, which can be a good or bad thing if you know what I mean. But it definitely gives me an opportunity to also learn from them, like what
Right.
are some things that I could be doing better, just all that good stuff. So yes, I do teach every now and again.
And her teaching has been interesting. 'Cause my background. My first education job, like, I was a substitute teacher and then a teacher. Talk about same similar situation. I left winter break. They were like, came back from winter break. They're like, why weren't you here? I'm like, for what? They're like, the job you took. So trial by fire. I walked in
hmm
and I taught and all those things. But I love it because it's another way to connect. And I think what's always it's interesting with us is that hers being in education probably sees me in a different light. Like, oh, you did this with high school students and da da da. And same way, like when I do some of the things that are in the area of what she does, I'm like, absolutely not doing this full time. But nothing but love and respect because her job is challenging in so many different ways. But she makes it look easy. She'll be, oh, I just knocked out these this press release or these FAQs, and I'm like, I would still be working on those because I have no idea what some of that. I know what a press release is, but like how to I don't know how to format and do those things. So,
hmm
but an impressive person, of course, but also she makes it look like she balances it all. Also helps jobs up the street. I'm just saying, like but little things
Facts.
like that which make your life better, but also it affects
Yeah.
us. We have more. a mental capacity. We're not in places where like we don't have to talk about us complaining. Sorry, I shouldn't say complain, but like you come home and you're in the situation where you're like you have to debrief and unload, and then hopefully there's time for each other. Now we're like, hey,
Hmm.
you call in the middle of the day, you're like we're just chatting about whatever.
Next up, travel. So last year when, dang, what year is it? 2026? Yeah,
Hope so.
2025. 2025. We in the summer we went to Vegas. And so this summer I was like, nope, we need to
Okay.
go somewhere else. He told me that he hadn't been to Charlotte before, and I used to live in Charlotte, and so I was familiar with it. But of course a lot of things have changed because I was there when it was like COVID time,
Yeah.
2020, 2021. But it was a quick flight there. We spent like what, 4 days there. I think it was 4th of July
We
weekend.
arrived on 4th of July.
We, yeah, literally arrived on 4th of July. And I don't know, it was just a good time.
It
Like, we
was.
didn't have it. Now it was humid. It was humid.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a lot going on with that. But we went to a couple different places. We went to like North Camp End. We went to what else was it?
Went to the NASCAR museum.
NASCAR museum.
That wasn't the
Yeah.
plan. We were trying to go to the African History Museum, but it was
Yeah.
closed. NASCAR's up the street.
Mhm.
Very different museums.
Yes, very.
But it was good. It was
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen was there. So
Yeah. What else did we do?
we went to Jenny's Ice Cream a few times. Jenny's, if you hear this, I will DM us and we'll send you our address.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
phenomenal.
I love Jenny's ice cream.
I have to say this. We went out for dinner. We did this fancy dinner, and we both in it. It was we were like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we're like, guess we're going to Jenny's to make up for this. And it wasn't like
Yeah.
I shouldn't say make up for, but like
It wasn't horrible, but
just
it just wasn't. It was expensive for no reason
yeah, no, it was
because
expensive.
I could have went to Texas Roadhouse for a good steak.
Also, so when we went to Vegas last year, a couple people brought up, "Oh, you're going to get married." Kind of, some joking, some were serious. But this trip,
And we were only together for like 7 months.
This trip, we disappointed a lot of people. We came back, they're like, "Oh, would you go to Charlotte?" I didn't know Charlotte was where you went to get engaged. But we had a couple different people were like, "Man, we thought," and I was like, "No." But we had a fantastic time. And, it's a great city. If you haven't been, got the southern, component to it. A lot to do. Way more to do than we expected.
And the houses.
Where we stayed, we just played this game. We're like, where we were driving. We were driving to get something to eat. And I was just like, dang, every house.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like what you would think you're going to see in certain, like everybody there makes a ton of money apparently. It was living in these castles, and had good food. Everybody we talked to was friendly. The hotel was great. It was quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so back to the engagement thing. So I will admit, I thought I was going to get engaged too when I was in Charlotte. So I was a little disappointed, but I didn't know that he had other plans. And for the record too, since we've both like been there, done that when it comes to engagement, being married, all those things, I told him, I was like, I don't need no theatrics. I don't need nothing special. Like, just me and you. It doesn't matter where we're at, whatever the case may be. But yeah, but I definitely thought Charlotte was gonna be
we had a conversation in a Waffle House parking lot. But I joke because the location didn't matter, just we were stopping to get food. Shout out to Waffle House. I couldn't go because I have dietary issues and it wasn't gonna work.
No, let's be real, because they don't separate the meat and stuff. So he don't eat pork, which means you flipping the bacon with the same spatula with it as the hash browns and the ham and all the stuff. Like, come on now. And I literally sat there and watched. I said, before we order anything, let me look.
Your boy was about to go all in and be sick on the plane. But what I could have had, chicken and waffles. Or fried chicken strips. No, it doesn't matter.
They don't have chicken strips there.
Well, I'll figure it out. But I think we had the conversation, and what I appreciate is that we don't go with like too in depth into just some of the stuff, like all the details, but it was just a healthy conversation of like, hey, here's how I was feeling, and I felt bad. I know the whole time I'm like, I have stuff to say, but I can't say it because
it would ruin
what comes next. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just us two in the house. Loved it. If anybody asks me what he told me, I can't remember because in my brain, I just was like, yes, come on, finish
I
talking.
don't think
Yes.
I don't even know if I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
It was probably deep, meaningful, insightful. But dude, it was simple. Uh, so, a little backstory: I had tried to order the ring for Charlotte, made a mistake on the shipping. They're like, "Oh, you can guarantee your shipping." I'm like, "I know my life. It's going to show up the day we're leaving, and then I've got to worry about it getting from there." And
Yeah.
it arrived a couple days after we got back, and it sat in my bag. And then one night I was like, "All right, I'm going to do it this day." And then she had a work event that just it was work or it was we were out, but some whatever it was it
Oh,
went
friend of BJ.
it went long, and then it was like, okay, so but it was fine, but it just worked out perfectly. And then
Yeah.
it was simple. I tell people like, by the way, engagement and wedding ceremonies and all those things, they have no bearing on the type of wedding you're gonna have or marriage you're gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
That's very much
Mm-hmm.
into. But I
Yeah.
made sure that I later on I did send her something. I said, this is what I would have loved to have said, but all that mattered, she was like, look, I was gonna say yes, so I'm like, we doing this? She's like, yep. I'm like, let's do it now. Yeah, and she
Yes.
genuinely surprised her.
Yes.
She had no idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And no, we're not having a ceremony because
Because you're asking.
people keep asking.
No, you can't.
We're not having any flower girls, boys. We're not doing any of that.
Sorry, Joe.
So y'all will find out when we get married. You'll know probably like a couple months afterwards. Who knows?
You'll find
Who
out.
knows? Maybe the day of. Maybe a couple minutes after. You never know.
The live stream. I'm joking. The new car. Went in for an oil change. Routine, taking care of the car. Walked out with the new car.
And pay my car note the day of.
Pay for the car note and the oil change. And then they're like, new car. But
So there wasn't anything wrong with my like I had a 2023 Santa Fe, Hyundai Santa Fe. And it's basic model, all those different things. And I would joke with everybody like, I don't know why I got this basic model. Like I have no type of no push start, no trunk opened up on its own, nothing. Okay. I was sick of it. So when I got that message and they was like, yeah, do you want to trade your car in? And I was like, what you got? And so I went and I looked and I saw that they showed me that 2026 Santa Fe.
They knew what they were doing.
And I was like, sure, go ahead. You said it starts from my phone? Oh, yeah.
It's an impressive car.
It is. I have to take it back to the dealership though because I'm trying to figure out why my brakes are squeaking. So we're gonna figure that out. But I do have bumper to bumper coverage, so we're gonna figure that out. But I love it.
It's
yeah.
Every time you see a car, you're like, oh, this is cool. No, it does so many things. She was sitting in the car one day. She had the car off, and the car basically knew that it was heating up and turned the AC on for her.
I said, the car is not on. How did you do this? Her name is Luna, by the way. Yeah. If you know me, you know I name all my cars. So my last car's name was Legend, and they all start with an L, and her name is Luna. So I've had Leilani, I've had Lola, I've had Lexi, I've had Legend, and now I have Luna.
I will say that Legend used to make a lot of noise, like all the alerts, the alarms. Legend used to do stuff like every now and then just stop, because they're like, hey, you're in danger. Luna is just making
too much.
Like those sensors in the front of the car. I appreciate it, but can we calm down a little bit? But no, it's
yeah.
I tell people like someone asked me about our car. I said it's nice, but it's also like it's everything that you wanted in a car.
It's spacious.
It's
like I think ever since I became a boy mom, I'm like I need space. Like if I want to put one of his big motorized cars in my trunk without having to, do all this extra, like no, it should be able to fit. It should be able to fit. So it fit. I know it fit.
I'm like the practical nerd in so many ways. It has those like weather proof or weather tech, whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
On the for the floor mats. Mm-hmm. So if anybody knows, there's a young man involved. He's a boy and a child, and things get spilled, and guess what? You just wipe it right up. And also just for your own sake, it catches everything. But I just tell people like sometimes those little upgrades, it also just you work hard. You work hard for stuff like if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Every now, I'm not saying you got to do it all the time, but treat yourself and get what you think you truly want and deserve.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
again, if it's in your budget, go for it. Because one thing about me, I got a budget. Now I may not follow it to a T,
yes, yes.
but at least I know what my money looking like,
Yeah.
you know.
You, that Excel sheet that you ran, I was like, you put
Yes.
something in over here and it just does. By the way, shout out to Excel. I don't even understand how it
Hmm.
works. I know like four things in Excel, but it is magic.
Yeah. I map out my finances at least 3 months in advance. So hey,
My money,
gotta stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
my money's in the mattress, so it's
Come
safe.
on. Something else that we've also done in the past couple of months is be able to connect with our frat brothers and my sorority sisters, of course. We're both part of the Divine Nine, which is Black Greek Letter Organization, Iota Phi Theta, Sigma Gamma Rho, and if you are in one of these organizations, then you already know like what it means for you to be able to link up with some of your old heads, your dean, your line brothers, line sisters that you ain't seen in I don't know how long because life be life in and y'all are just not that, close in proximity to each other. But in May, I went to dang,
It was
that was a
me.
while ago. In May, I went to Virginia to go visit my line sisters, and we did kind of like I'll call it a cabin. It wasn't really a cabin, but like a cabin trip.
Cabin for you.
It was,
It was outdoors
it
involved.
was a lot of outdoors involved. Just deers running around. Just no. But it was really like a good time
Yeah.
to just all of us be in one place. Not all 10 of us was able to make it, but majority of us was there, and Dean, ADP. Um, and it just I don't know, it just felt good, like the same way that I'm going to homecoming this year. It's just I think being so far away from the people that I went to college with, and who know like a lot about me is just like dang, like I miss those people, like even
Yeah.
my best friends. I have one best friend in Memphis and I have another one in Houston, and so it's just I be missing them.
Yeah.
So just being able to reconnect and see them is just great.
Well, and there's one detail about this. She went to a conference in Southern California, flew home for a few hours, then flew out to Virginia.
Because I had to see
But
my son.
but I was getting the pictures while she was out there, and these are like finally putting like faces to names and things. And at one point they Facetime me so I could say hi, and but just seeing you like it's a side of you that I don't was not part of that when you were in school, but just to see it and I understand it, but it just you can see it brings that part of life to you that you're like you're missing.
Mhm.
You don't really know how much you're missing until you're in the mix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So while she was gone in Virginia, um, we had a reunion in the Bay Area. I went to two different reunions in the Bay Area, but one was it was a chapter that I helped found back in a while ago. Okay, a while ago. Watch yourself. Um, in the but it was like a 25th anniversary of the chapter, and some of my closest friends in life are from there. And I went back, and it was. I mean, anybody knows for jokes like just nonstop, but the love in the room was in the space was cool. But the crazy thing was like two of the guys were former students of mine, and one of them was just like he we talked, and he got me emotional because he was just saying like all these things that he had never told me, like how he wanted to make me proud, and I got to tell him how proud I was of him. And then just to see these, everybody now has like wives and kids and real jobs, and these are some of the guys back in the day that were working like they work in the dining hall and
Hmm.
obviously making questionable decisions when dating and those things. But just to see the growth in the professionals was really dope. But also just to see the love that they have for each other and the love that
Hmm.
they showed me, they always had showed me. I appreciated it. Left thinking I'll be there for like 4 hours. 10 hours later, I
Well,
drove him like drove him late.
this one right here, like fraternity aside, he be knowing everybody. Okay, he calls it the Jeff Towie effect.
Okay.
Effect. But seriously, like we'll go someplace and it's like, oh, Towie,
Yeah,
and he didn't talk to somebody or work with somebody, whatever the case may be.
I
But when you talk about impact, this
yeah,
guy right here, like from the real Northern California up here to the Bay Area. Yeah, I said it.
yeah,
Yeah, I said it.
yeah.
Sacramento, you're not the Bay Area. Thank you. Um, just gotta put that out
No, you're
there.
not.
Yeah, But when you talk about impact, when you talk about
Mhm.
people pouring into others, when you talk about mentorship, like all those things, like this is this guy.
Yeah.
And he knows that when I looked him up, when I talked to people, vetted him out, because I gotta know, there was nothing but great things talked about him. And I'm hoping in the future he gets some type of like recognition for just the things that he's done, because his
Mhm.
impact is definitely felt all across, California, honestly.
Well, thank you. And if anybody knows me, fewer things make me more uncomfortable. I actually did good. I kept my head up most of the time, but thank you. And sometimes I try to be like humble about it, or I don't think about some of those things. But when I was there, I was talking to his name. Shout out to Adam, and now shout out to Vincent. And we're sitting there talking, and he's like, "I'm working with young, he's a fireman. He's like, I'm doing this youth academy, and man, all I start to think like, what would Towie do? What would Towie do? And he's like, I did it, and he's like, oh wait, man, my respect for you went through the roof because you did this with us for years. And but it just it warmed my heart to see that, because you pour into students and all these things, and you oftentimes you just never see the results. But to have that
Mhm.
conversation, and she knows I've had a few of these conversations over the past like 5 6 years, that she had to tell me like, you're that guy and you need to embrace that. And then on the other side of this, we had the reunion of the old guys. We had a reunion for my chapter in San Francisco, from a shout out to Al Kai chapter at San Francisco State University. We had to get together, like a little cookout, and everybody was gray. And at one point, we're like, we got to sit down because our backs hurt. No, but it was, she saw like from the moment we got out the car, it was like just like we hadn't seen each other. Some of these people we haven't seen each other 10, 15 years,
Mhm.
and it was just love in the space, and they were excited. We had just got engaged the day before, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So when my fraternity brother saw the ring, he said, "Hold on, put the sunglasses on." That's better. Uh, but I wanted her to meet because meet the guys because she hears about them, and like I can't go to homecoming with her this year, but next year I want to go because her sorority was like, "Bring them out, let's meet them," those things. But it was a huge part of my life.
Mhm.
It always has been, but it's a huge part, especially when I was younger in college. It formed who I am, and when life got real bad for me, some of the people that showed up first were my fraternity brothers.
Mhm.
And just shout out to like anybody who has that kind of bond. It's
Yeah.
real. But and half the time it's somebody that's like you get together and you just realize, man, we just like being around each other, and it's always
Mhm.
fun and a
Mhm.
bit ridiculous. And that's to balance out when life gets crazy.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, I think that's the beauty of our organizations in the Divine Nine, is that it doesn't stop at college. It goes beyond that, whether you're active, not active, because life happens.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people that do more community service than people that are active, but that's another story for another day. And
Oh, no
but
lies
it
told.
Yes, but it literally, it's a lifetime bond.
Sure.
Like, once you got into your organization, that's what decided
Yeah.
to um dedicate part of your life to. So
Yeah.
I had to be careful my words there.
And also shout out to in the work that I do, we just reactivated the chapter in my school, and I got to go through that whole process, and we're there, and I'm looking around, and she's like, I was like, we got to get a picture. I'm like, yeah. She said, no, like all of these guys. I'm like, what? All the
Mhm.
guys that used to be former students of mine,
Mhm.
and it was cool. But it's also crazy. Like I've been in the fraternity game for decades,
Yeah.
and all the things that you see, some things don't change, some things do, but the profound impact it can have on communities and individuals. You see someone
Mhm.
who's 19 years old, and you meet them, you see them later in life. Hopefully, they've grown, but their core is still there. Like you can still have all the stories, but
Yeah.
if it's done right, it really has an impact on the trajectory of people's lives.
Yeah.
So
Dang, I can't believe that that was within this past like
yeah,
7 months.
that's like in
We
between that.
abandoned y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all.
Yeah,
We just been going with life.
yeah,
Like, we just been. I think content creation is great. It is amazing. Those that can do it often,
yeah.
shout out to you. That is wonderful. But I think, like, me and him, we're very unscripted people.
Right.
We try to think about, like, what is it that we kind of want to talk about, like what makes sense. but we're not going to be just trying to push out content just to
Yeah.
push it out. So hopefully we can be a little bit more
Sure.
consistent, but that just depends on what we're doing.
I don't know. I was listening to podcasts. I think they did 4 episodes in one day, and they were doing like 2 more the next day. Shout out to the young lady that I met at Costco. I was
Oh
walking out, and
yeah.
she said, "Do you work at Sac State?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "You make content." I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Can you please keep doing the videos? I like it." She was like, in her early 20s, and I was like, "Is this what fame feels like?" Because I was like, it just felt it was weird, but it was also cool that she's
Yeah.
like she really appreciated the content, and was it? Sorry we left you.
I think it's just
It's life.
yeah, it's life, but I think too, I don't know, like sometimes we don't be knowing like what people
Yeah.
want us to talk about, and we don't want it to feel forced. Like we like to do like lighthearted stuff and things like that. And
We.
again, the real
I'm sorry.
reason that we like started this was because some of the conversations um that weren't happening in
Yes.
relationships are just some of like the open, transparent conversations. So
Yeah, we actually talked about doing a video in Charlotte, and just we
yeah,
didn't.
we were like, we're just gonna enjoy
Yeah,
ourselves.
but maybe if there's like, if there's ideas or things you'd like to like questions or even like just things you'd like to see, like our day to day life is not nearly as exciting, but there's it's
Yeah,
just but we're a real couple family doing all those things. Um, I
yeah,
appreciate like I like doing this because my thing is like is impact in the sense like if you can affect someone's life, but if someone's out there and they hear it and they're like, hey, I needed to hear that. That's how I function. Like I watch
hmm,
random stuff and it's just like I can hear a quote and I'm like, yeah, it sits with me. We're not perfect. I will say this: sometimes you go around other people and they talk about their relationships and you're like,
ooh,
oh, we're doing all right. Because you kind of get that tunnel vision where we're like we could say well we have this conversation we don't be very real we don't do a lot of the drama and all that stuff but we have things that
yeah,
we work on but it's like majority of the time we're just having a good time living.
yeah.
We live a wild life. It's we go to work and we eat, yeah,
Take
and then
care of a toddler.
yeah, take care of a young guy and then go back at it.
Yeah,
But and shout out to anybody who makes content and also like the behind the scenes. If one day we'll release like just the behind the scenes stuff, which is editing. Our
I don't know
engineer,
if I got patience. Not the engineer. The
our,
engineer and
our
producer,
engineer producer is
he's asleep right now,
he's asleep. It's way past his bedtime.
which is how we're able to do this right now.
Yeah, so I appreciate
Coming up next on Mixtape for Two, and I'm just kidding. All right, but no, for real. So what's next for
it. Doing
us?
your reporter voice.
Coming up next at 5. I
Sorry.
can't even. That didn't even know how to do it
I
right.
love it. I think it's amazing. It's funny because she could just go into it.
Coming up tonight, we will be interviewing someone who said, "I'm just kidding. I haven't done that in like forever."
Yeah.
Anyways, what is coming up next for us? So in the next year, we're going to be merging our lives together. Potentially buying a house, buying a house. But also, I think the biggest thing for us is we just have like a wealth of knowledge
Yes.
in our fields, and we're those people who are, I guess, I wouldn't say very humble because I mean we are, but we're kind of those people that's like, how do we get more eyes on the things that we have to say? And I
Yeah.
know you're probably thinking, Linnea, don't you do that for a living? You put organizations yeah, I know. But for myself, I don't know how to do
Right.
that. Okay. I don't know how to do that. So one day I'm gonna get a publicist, but for now, that's not what's
Right.
happening.
It's on the list.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
But yeah, we're just trying to figure out what are some ways that he can get more eyes on him, maybe teaching a class at a community
Yes.
college or something, or
Yes.
university, to
Yeah.
talk about campus culture, to talk about mentorship. What you want to talk about?
I'm gifted in a lot of things that I could talk about. No, I definitely talking about the power of building relationships with students.
Mm,
And by the way, it gets tricky and like people think relationships. You're like, come on, dude, like that's not. But the connection between like a student and a staff member, in the sense of like they can guide you through the process, but also help this student become actualized into whatever field they want to go into. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the main thing is it's connection,
Yeah.
it's community, but it's also having like a genuine way of speaking to somebody. One thing, one thing that I've found out that I'm pretty good at, like in this space, is making a few people feel welcome and they belong.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody knows in academia, like belonging is the key word right now,
Yeah.
next to workforce development. But
Connection 101.
right, and but at the same time, I also want, I'd like to see educators do a better job at building those relationships, because I think we have it
Mm-hmm.
backwards, where relationships and trust and all those things should be it's like the springboard to get them to do other things. Like you're like, oh, why does this student like show up for certain people and do certain things? Well,
Mm-hmm.
because they trust them, and they trust them, and they feel like they're believed in.
And
So
how long you been doing this?
3 4 days. I've actually, this is my was it so technically this would be my 30th year doing
Mm-hmm.
some sort of mentoring work. I started in
Mm-hmm.
1996, freshman last year of college. Shout out to Making Waves. I got somebody saw something to me. Professor Holsclaw said, "Hey, you should check this out." I went there on a Saturday, and no joke, I left in 2013. I
Wow.
was part time, but to your point, it's we both feel like hopefully people can learn from us, but I also think that we both realize that maybe we are skilled in certain areas that sometimes you see other people are like, they get a platform and it seems to be useful. Maybe we should be trying to do the similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's just I just
it
wanted
feels
to
kind of weird.
feel I just wanted to feel authentic. Like I
Yeah.
don't want it to feel like this sales pitch or
Yes.
this like mm-mm. And I've tried the entrepreneurship thing. Yeah, that's not for
No.
me. Like the
Right.
the actual having like a PR agency or something like that. That I know my strengths and my weaknesses, and me being an entrepreneur in that capacity is not it. But put me on a panel, put me on a
Yes.
speaking engagement, have a conversation. I got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
I'm
So yeah.
because I know we both talked. She was at a conference recently, and they had a workshop about writing your own book, and she's like, "I should write a book," and I'm like, "We should both write books."
Should.
And then you're like, "About what?" You're like, "See, that's the challenging part, right?" I think people think that writing the book is the challenging part. I think the idea is figuring out what you're going to write about is the
See,
most challenging part.
it's giving me save up my coins to get a ghostwriter. I'm just being honest. Just saying.
Hey,
That's for me. That's for me. But
yeah,
we didn't went way over what we were supposed to with this video. So we'll be back. But we just want to update you.
feels good to be back. Good talking to everybody, but just make sure when you're out there, just if you can, make someone's day just a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Make someone smile or laugh, and make yourself smile and laugh, and maybe
Hmm.
this whole nonsense we're dealing with will get a little bit better.
You know what nonsense we talking about.
It rhymes with no, never
All right.
mind. All right,
Bye.
let's see you next time.